We are live. All right, Mandy.
All right. We'll go ahead and kick this off. So I'm Mandy Tilton. I am a registered nurse and have 20 previous years of experience in the kidney care space. And it's an absolute honor to be here with you all today and to introduce our next speaker, who I bet you're pretty familiar with already. But I'm going to go ahead and formally introduce Anthony Reed anyway. So as a former dialysis patient and now living with a kidney transplant, Anthony knows absolutely not only what it's like to live having kidney disease, but also to live beyond kidney disease. He has shared his stories and his experience on a nationwide level. For me personally, Anthony and I became familiar with each other after attending a conference together in 2019 and have had some communications back and forth electronically on different social media platforms and things up until this point, but this is really our first time to meet live. So I'm just delighted to be able to be here. And I was really honored when Anthony asked me to take part in this really important session. So Anthony, I'm going to turn this over to you, but before I do, I just wanted to say thank you. So thank you for being courageous enough to share your story and to selflessly encourage others. That's really special, and I appreciate you.
Well, thank you, Mandy. I appreciate it. And I want to welcome everybody to the Kidney Trails Virtual Summit, and appreciate everybody for tuning in and for being here with us live virtually. It's a great thing that technology is it not? So today, I do want to thank also the team. Today we're in a studio, so to speak, and I have my wonderful production director here, Tim Jackson, here run things behind the scenes. So I really appreciate that as well. Mandy, I appreciate your willingness to come here and speak. I know we had some last minute changes to this session. We had another speaker, and due to unforeseen circumstances, they were not able to make it today, but we're grateful for the opportunity to be here today. So one of the things when, Mandy and I've talked back and forth, sent some emails, and as I started to think about the session, what am I going to bring? What would be beneficial to those that, may have, it's not just kidney disease, and this is the Kidney Trail Summit. And I was talking to some individuals the other day, and we were talking about the name Kidney Trails. What does it mean? And I said, you think about you're hiking up a mountain, and then you've got the summit. So we are here at the summit. We're grateful for that. So today, the first thing I want to do is I just want to give just first of all, a big thank you to everybody, but also I hope that today that each one of y'all will be able to take a little something away from what is said today. Being a speaker, especially doing this, presenting it, whatever, there's a great and grave responsibility on us because, those of us that we are talking to, we have the opportunity to influence, whether that be in a good way or a negative way. It really is dependent on what we bring. And for me, it's just very interesting. And I hope that today we will be able to bring a positive influence on everyone today. And, the thing is too, I've had a wonderful day yesterday, and I was able to take so much away and apply it to my own life. And I hope today will be just as great for everybody as well. So I want to start off with just a little bit of backstory about me, who I am, and how we started this. So really quickly, my story started back in December 19th, 1990. I was adopted from Guatemala City, Guatemala by two wonderful parents. Very grateful for what they did for me. Not only did they flew down to Guatemala, but not only did they give me their love, their family, their support, but they also shared the lessons that I would need later on in life. They also saved my life eventually, which we would find out later on down the road. I had a very wonderful childhood, and then up until age 18, everything was going very well. Then at age 18, we ended up having a stroke due to high blood pressure. And the numbers that were given was 320 over 280. Pretty high, I think, at least on my end. I think the doctor had a stroke when he when he saw those numbers too. We had a stroke. We got that all taken care of, and then we started to go down the road and let's get our life back in order. You know, we graduated high school. Let's go ahead and get started in life, go with our career, and we'll go from there. After all that happened, we're going down the road, but age 18, 19, who needs doctors? Who needs medical directors? Who needs any of that? Who needs somebody telling them what to do? I surely didn't, at least I didn't think so. And ended up all that medication and everything ended up just going in the trash and saying, hey, let me just get on. It was just making me too tired, right? You know, let's not worry about it. Let's just keep on going, which we did. Until 5 years later, at age 22, I ended up diagnosed with end-stage renal disease, stage 5 kidney failure, and what a definitely an experience that was, and definitely a lot of different things happened. A lot of things were going through my mind during that time. Within 4 years, we had a kidney transplant, which definitely helped, and now we're here. We're here at the summit, and that's it. Let's go on home, right? Let's go home. Let's call this a day. The interesting thing about it is that my journey within my life has taught me a number of different lessons, a ton of different things that have helped me. And I hope to share with you a few different lessons that I learned on my journey. You see, there's one thing that life is meant for us to do. It's meant for us to learn. We're meant to be able to take these things in and grow from them, take these lessons that life, see, all these challenges that we have really are lessons to help us grow to the next level. It's to help us take it out to where we need to go up, up, and up. And that's what we're doing today. I want to share with you some very key lessons that helped me along my journey. The first lesson, be the willing student. Now, at age 18, I was the what would I call it? Maybe the rebellious student, maybe the student that wouldn't listen. I was not a very good student because obviously at age 18, what did I do? I ended up throwing the medication away. Okay, so, the doc said I need medication. Why not just throw it all away? Why not just say, hey, I'm done with this stuff. It's making me too tired. It's making me this. What I didn't understand is what the repercussions could be from that, from doing that, from throwing the medication away. And at age 22, I found out that because I wasn't the willing student at first, because I failed that test that life had for me, that I have to retake the test. So one of the things, if you don't learn the lesson the first time, what happens? You may have to retake the test, just like you do in school. If you don't pass a class, you don't pass a grade, you have to retake the test. And I'll tell you one thing about life. The funny thing about life is if you don't pass it the first time, the second test is going to be more challenging and more difficult for you. It's going to be harder for you to come through. Why? Because you didn't learn it the first time. Life wants to make sure that you're going to learn it the second time. So I had to. So what was my lesson? My lesson was, well, let's see. Let's do since you didn't learn it from your stroke. So the stroke, which took away all my feeling out of my right arm. Thankfully, I gained it all back. Let's see what happens now. Let's see about what about your kidneys? Because I didn't listen, because I threw away all the medication, my blood pressure got out of control, and I ended up back in the ER because of the fact I had end-stage renal disease. Be the willing student. Life is here for us to learn. It's here for us to take it and also teach others. And that's what we're doing today. I'm hopefully going to teach and share some of these things that help me. To be the willing student is something that I think that every one of us can learn from. But the one thing about being the willing student, when you go through these tests in life, you learn something. One of the things that I learned was I lost the first time, right? I ended up back in the hospital, end-stage renal disease. What's that called? Kidney failure, right? You have to go on dialysis. So let's get you in dialysis. Let's get you started. Now, I think about it this way. If I would have listened the first time, I wouldn't be where I'm at today. Could be a two-sided coin, right? Because first of all, I'd be out living my life, no worries about kidney disease or anything like that. But then again, I wouldn't be here. But then again, I wouldn't be here if I wouldn't have learned that lesson. So I'm grateful that I had the opportunity to learn that lesson. And I'm grateful that I did learn the lesson. I'm grateful that I started to learn how to be the good student, the willing student. One of the things about being a good student of life is you learn from your losses. The next subject I want to talk about, next lesson that I learned was being a master over your failures. When I was told I had end-stage renal disease, what is the other word for that? Kidney failure. Some people call what end-stage renal disease. I remember one person, I saw it on a video, he said, it's not an end stage, it's a new stage in life. And it really was. Kidney disease was a new stage. Dialysis was a new stage. This wasn't the end for me. Some people, they come down to where they feel like it's the end for them. It's not an end. It's just a new beginning. It could be a new beginning, a new direction that you may have to go. You see, for me, life was pushing me in a different direction. And I had to learn from that. And I had to start to learn how to learn from those losses. There was one thing I said to somebody not long before I was diagnosed was, if I learn from my losses, I will never lose again. It's a good thought. If you learn from your losses, you'll never lose again. You know what I learned about the medication? Guess what? I take my meds now. I do what I need to do to keep myself healthy, because I don't want to end up back in the same place that I was at the first time. I don't want to end up back in that chair if I don't have to. You learn from your losses, you'll never lose again. Is it really a loss? It depends. As long as you learn from it, I don't believe it is. That is one thing about learning how to master failures. Learn from it. Learn from it and apply it to your life to be a master over failure. There's a lot of things to be said about mastering this technique. It's a lot of different things that go into it. One of the things that helps you with this would be a good, healthy mindset, something that can help you along your journey. How do we create a healthy mindset? Well, I think of a mind, and we're kind of going into this, we're kind of jumping a little ahead, but I think of a mind as a garden. This is unplowed field. This is a garden. Okay, so what do we have? We're right in the state that we live in today. We're at the time of gardening, springtime, right? We till the ground, we plant the seeds. So what we need to do, what helped me was, if my mind's a garden, what I plant is what I'm going to receive. I'm going to receive more than what I plant. So if I receive good seed, I'm going to get what? Good fruit. Something that'll be beneficial for me. But if I do the negative, I'm going to get bad seed. That's not going to help me in my journey. Every day, each of us are planting something on our minds. And especially when you're at that time, in those challenging times, you'll need that good fruit. You'll need that good seed. You'll need that good things to help you through that. For me, when I was in the ER, I had to do something. I had to pull from a storehouse, or mental storehouse. And every day we're putting something in it. Now we can do something just such as, it depends. We can get up in the morning, we can get together. We could read a book and start planting the good seeds in our mind. We could read the books of success. We could listen to the speeches of success. Or we might take up the phone and read the negative news, which in turn would what? It's going to bring forth negative fruit. Because of everything that happened, I think I'm very grateful for my father. My father, when I was a young child, did his best to teach me how to have a good mindset. He started to teach me to plant the good seeds. He started to show me the good way. But I was young. I didn't really listen too much to it. At age 16, I had the great opportunity to ride with my uncle in his van, as he owned his own company. And he was a seed planter. Each of us can be a seed planter in some way, some form. You said, well, how was he a seed planter? See, at age 16, he started putting in those CDs and those tapes and those books. He started putting in the Zig Ziglars and the Jim Rohns to help me. But what did I do? I put my earbuds in. I didn't want to hear that stuff. I want to be the cool dude. I want to be the one listening to my cool music, Well, why do I need to listen to that stuff? I'm so tired. I tell my mom, I'm so tired of hearing these different things. I'm so tired of hearing him, all these different things. He goes, what's about goal setting? What's about motivation? Why do I need to hear that? I want to hear my music. Age 17, the same thing, but at age 17 and 18, one earbud would go out and I'd start listening. See, he was faithful to the field. He was faithful to the plow. Age 18, 19, my second one, I started to take it all in. Little did he know and little did I know that I would need that later on in life. I remember when I was diagnosed and they said, you have end-stage renal disease. You're going to have to go on dialysis. What did I do? I pulled from my mental storehouse. I pulled from my mental storehouse. One of the things, yes, you have kidney failure, but remember, I remembered what did Zig Ziglar said? You were born to win. If I was born to win, yes, it's just another stepping stone in life. This is just something else. I need to do what I need to do to not only survive, but to thrive. So I started pulling those different things out. You were born to win. Les Brown said, this is possible. It's possible to go beyond this. It's possible to that I can have my dream. It's possible that eventually that I will get off dialysis. It's possible to live a life that is extraordinary. You see, I didn't want to get to with those things in my mind, being able to pull those in my from my mental storehouse in my time of famine. See, life, there's times of plenty, but there's also times of famine. When I was diagnosed and in my dialysis period, there was times of famine, times that the seed that I planted wouldn't grow. And I have to go pull from the mental storehouse to help me. It helps us to have those different things in our mind to help build that healthy mindset. We have to deal with both positive and negative. We have to deal with them both. I would rather have more positive things in my mental storehouse than more negative things. So what would help us? What's another lesson? Have the healthy mindset. Have a healthy mindset. Have a mindset that will absolutely help you during your time of challenge. And also have stuff in your storehouse that you can give to other people, just like my uncle did, just like my father did, to help teach me along the way. During those times, especially when you're on dialysis and you're one of the things that I faced multiple times is there was things of depression, thoughts of giving up. What did I do? I went back to the mental storehouse and started pulling those good things. You see, one thing about dialysis, well, it's good to have a healthy mindset and it helps us. One thing about dialysis is you find out on dialysis, you have a lot of time, a lot more time. That's one thing that some people have taught me is how to manage your time. But on dialysis, generally the normal treatment's 4 hours. Okay, so you got 4 hours. If you're in center, that depends on the modality. But if you're in center like I was, you generally have about 4 hours and you'll have 3 treatments a week. So what's that, around 12 hours? 12 hours of time, free time that you have. So what the question came to me at first, I got in there, I'm curious, what's all these things? There's the machines, there's these individuals, there's this, what's the nurses doing? What's the techs doing? What's all this stuff? But it's like, how was I utilizing my time? Was I utilizing it well? Did I watch a time vaporizer? Did I just allow the time just to slip on by me? It wasn't long I started utilizing that time wisely. Why? Because I wanted to be more. I knew that there was a life outside of where I was at. I knew that I could grow no matter what the situation, no matter what the challenges, that I could grow if I just applied the time. I mean, how many of you would like to have 12 hours? 12 hours of free time. I would love to have 12 hours. They said when I had a transplant that I would have more free time. I haven't found that. So it's just gotten busier and busier, but that's a good thing. But to have 12 hours free to be able to utilize that for your benefit. I used it multiple times. I'd sit in dialysis. I'd put my headphones back in. But this time the good things were coming in. The self-help, the motivational, all those different things would help feed my mind. That way, there was when those depressing thoughts came, when those trying times came, when I was down in the valley, it would come and it'd help uplift me and pull me up to the next level. Time. Be a good steward of your time. One thing about time is none of us are guaranteed how much time we have. Utilize the time that we have to the best of our ability. Use the time to help other people. I remember on dialysis, some of the things I would do, how would I utilize my time? Sometimes after treatment, I would get off and I'd go around and talk to other individuals. Maybe they were having a hard time. Maybe something that I heard that day on my listening device on my phone that I'd be able to share it with them to help them along their journey. Maybe it's just whatever way you can utilize your time. Maybe it's going and seeing that individual and they're going through a hard time. You say, I have this book. Maybe you would like to read it. Maybe just a note of encouragement. Let me write a note of encouragement. One of the other ways that I utilized my time was when I was on dialysis. This is interesting. Is that I actually graduated in vocational school in electrical. I utilized my time wisely. I wanted to enhance my learning. So what did I do? I did school while I was on dialysis. I sat in the chair, bring my school books and read, and then do my tests. It was all online, and was able to pass my vocational school while I was in the chair to better myself. Use the time to better yourself, no matter where you're at, especially if you're in a place like that. And you said, well, it depends on my age. What we all can use our time for the betterment of others and the betterment of ourselves. One of the ways that I used my time is I used to dream. So the first thing I would do is I dreamed a lot. I'm a dreamer. I use my imagination a lot. You know what? One of the things I used to imagine about. I remember sitting in the chair one day, and I was sitting there, and I was saying, "There's got to be something out there for those of us that are here in this chair that would help us, and not all the medical stuff." You see, I wanted to let the medical care team take care of the medical. But there's got to be somebody out there. There's got to be people out there that have learned lessons from their journey that they can share it with me so that I might be successful. I mean, I was on dialysis, and this was my thought. I'm here in this chair. What have other people done that has been successful in their life? What about the other business? Have they done businesses? Have they graduated college? Have they done school? Where's those stories? So in my mind, I started to dream. What did I dream? I dreamed about speakers. Speakers that have had kidney disease, been on dialysis, or have had transplants. People bringing those lessons out in life. People sharing so I could be uplifted during those times. People that could speak my language, so to speak. So I utilize my time dreaming. What happens? Don't just stop at a dream. Next step, take that dream and turn it into a vision. It's very important. I started to envision myself out the chair. You know where I envisioned myself? Right where I'm at today. You know what part of that dream was? It's what we saw yesterday. It's what we saw today and what we're going to see tomorrow. This has been a dream of mine since 2014, since I sat right in that chair. And I remember sitting in that chair and I said, where is this stuff? And it's like life came down, sat beside me, and said, it's not there because it's a task to you to do. This is your task to do. This is exactly what you need to be doing. So I started to envision it. I started planning for it. And now it has become a reality. The Kidney Trail Summit today, ladies and gentlemen, is here because I dreamed, I envisioned, and I had great people. And we have hopefully brought forth together some great people sharing some great lessons. Because I still see myself in that chair needing and wanting to be encouraged and motivated during that time. So it's key, even in goal setting. Let me tell you something. The only difference between me and somebody else that hasn't on dialysis is that we just face different challenges. This conference, this summit, these sessions, they aren't just for dialysis, those that are on dialysis or those that have a transplant. This can be used for everybody. Every one of us are going through certain challenges. Every one of us have certain things within our life that we are facing that maybe we want to do, maybe dreams we want to see come to life. Maybe visions we want to see actually be put up on the board, so to speak. It doesn't matter. It's the same. We just are facing different challenges. We can learn from each other. I didn't have those. I didn't have a summit, but what I did have, I utilized. Like I said, I learned from those individuals. I'd listen to those sessions because it helped me along my journey. So very important lesson that I learned. And I know that went into a little bit more, but it starts with a dream, goes to the vision. If you start to plan for it, plan for your dream, whatever it may be. You may be in that chair today, sitting there doing your treatment. You may have a dream to own your own business. Well, that's a good start. Let's go to a vision. Let's start envisioning it. Start to plan for it, and it will become reality. You never know where a dream will take you, do you? None of us ever do. One of the key components that I learned, and this was probably the most challenging lesson that I learned when I was on dialysis, was to become an unstoppable force. It was 2016. I had been on dialysis about 3 years or so. And I was just in there. One of the things I ended up doing is I got a little comfortable in dialysis. That's what happens sometimes. We get comfortable in the place that we're in. I think it's better to get uncomfortable than it is to be comfortable, because comfortability can lead to danger, which it did for me. I started to get comfortable with my diet. I started to eat the wrong things. Okay, so I can have some cheese. I can have one slice of cheese, but if I eat a slice and a half of cheese, it's not going to hurt. My laboratory still went good, and we're having somebody talk about labs later on today. Labs are still good. Couple months, well, maybe I increased it to 2 slices. Still good. I got comfortable, right? Getting comfortable. 1, 2, 3. What's the song say? 1, 2, 3. The devil's after me. It wasn't long after I started getting comfortable, we found out that it wasn't a very wise thing to do. I got some numbers back. I got one of my results back, and I can tell you it wasn't a good situation. In fact, the physician came around and he looked at my laboratory, my labs. This is what he said. He said, "Young man, if something doesn't change, within 6 months, you could have this disease, which can lead to a very slow and painful death. Becoming unstoppable will definitely take a toll on you. But if you learn it, it will help you greatly." 6 months to live. Imagine. See, I was age 22, right? No, I was age 20, 25, getting ready to go on 26. I had just newly married. We had just bought a home. I was living my life. I was doing great at life. All these things were great. But he said I had 6 months. At least that's what I heard in my mind, is I had 6 months. It's not what he said, but that's what I heard. Our words matter. How we word things, how we say things, how we present things matter. 6 months. Think about that. Age 25, you've only got 6 months. It's not much time. It's not much time for any of us. I remember going down to the truck afterwards. I pasted a smile. And I went down to the truck that night. And as soon as I sat in the truck, I grasped the steering wheel and I broke. I broke every way you think possible. I broke mentally, physically, spiritually, emotionally. I sat in that parking lot and the tears streamed down my face because I realized that I was getting ready to face one of the greatest things I'd ever done. I drove home that night. In my mind, I made a decision that I would not tell my wife. Looking back on it, that's probably not a great idea. If I didn't die then, she was going to kill me later, right? Because she about to had a fit when she found out later on. But I remember going home, got something to eat. My wife went to bed. And I went to my hiding place. My hiding place was music. My hiding place was going into my little music room and playing songs that would help uplift me. But as I put my hands on the piano, I didn't have a song to sing. I didn't have a song to play. The tears ran down my face and they touched the keys and they touched the heart of the master. I was so overwhelmed by what I was told. I was so overwhelmed by all the different things and the different thoughts that were coming in. Only 6 months left, only 6 months' time. What am I going to do? I just got married. Is my wife going to be a widow? Am I going to be just a memory that my parents would go to go visit in the graveyard on different holidays and different birthdays and different celebration days? Would they go visit the son that they once had? During that time, sometimes in life, life's going to knock you down. What did the one individual say? He said, you know, if you can't run, walk. If you can't walk, crawl. Anything, just move. Some things in life is going to push you down. You're going to be eating dirt. And that night and those next couple months, that's all I felt like I was doing. I was struggling to move. I was struggling to be motivated. I tried to pull from my mental storehouse to help me. And while it did, I was still seemed like inch by inch, but I was moving. I wasn't going to stop. I said, you know what? This thing, I'm going to fight this thing, and I'm going to fight until I don't have any strength left in me. I will swing until I can't swing no more. And we did. That August, I called my wife up. It was my birthday. I said, hey, hon. I remember she still didn't know, which the next thing is it's actually it's kind of funny to me now. But I called her up and said, honey, I want to throw my own birthday party. See, I figured, I'm going to live life to the fullest. No matter what, no matter how hard this was, I was going to live life with all it had. With all I had in me, I was going to give everything I got. So I said, I want you to call this one. I think we had 30 to 35 people in a 1,200 square foot house. She told me, honey, are you kidding me? You're just conceited. Why would you want to throw your own birthday party? To me, I thought it could have been my last. As we were sitting in there, we were having a great time. My cousin and I were in the music room playing. And my sister-in-law comes through the room and she's asked us to play something we did. She came and she comes in, she closes the door. She goes, Anthony, I've been wanting to tell you this for a long time. Because since spring of this year, I have felt a burden. What do you mean since spring was my thought? Spring? Let's see, when did this? It was spring, since April. April, since you had this thought. April's when I was told that I only had 6 months. Since April, I've been feeling this burden, this heavy burden that I want to donate my kidney to you. During your greatest challenge, remember this, help's on the way. You may not see it. You may feel all alone. I felt all alone many times. I felt, what is the poem, the footprints in the sand? You only see one set. I felt all alone, but the answer was on the way. Had I given up, had I not determined to become an unstoppable force, I would have ended up in the graveyard. Had I not determined that. So what did it? She said, I'm an O positive. You're an O positive. I feel led to do this. This is going to be done. This is going to happen. The only thing I knew what to do was to give her the information. I didn't know whether to laugh, scream, cry, whatever. I didn't know. It was just a lot of overwhelming emotions and shock and everything. So we gave her the number and she called and started that rolling. You know what else is interesting? 2 weeks later, we found out that we were expecting our first child. You see, if you stand through your hardest times, the sweeter the victory. The harder the battle, the sweeter the victory. But you have to dig down. I had to dig down deep and pull something up, something that I knew not of. And that is an unstoppable force to become that. By 2017, April 13th, just a few weeks ago, I'm celebrating my 5 years kidney anniversary. It's been a wonderful 5 years. These are lessons from the journey. These are lessons that can be applied in no matter what your situation. And I want to encourage you. I don't know where you're at today. I don't know what you're facing. I want to encourage you to start to apply some of these things. Take something, learn, know that help is on the way. I don't know how hard the situation, it may seem dire, it may seem like there's no hope. But if you become that unstoppable force, life will see it. Life will see that and will eventually say, we're going to give them a hand. We're going to, okay, they become, there's that determined, we're going to give them a hand. We're going to give them a hand to make it so they can make it to the next peak. So if we learn these things, we be a willing student. We learn to have mastery over failure. We start to work on a healthy mindset. We utilize our time wisely and start using, I would say, imagination, vision, dreams, and we become an unstoppable force. I'm sure that each and every one of you will be able to make it to the summit. That's all I have.
Wow, Anthony, thank you so much for sharing your story. I actually kind of need a moment to collect myself after hearing about your incredible journey. You're so brave. And again, I said this at the beginning, but thank you for your selflessness and investing so much of your time and energy in helping others along the way. Personally, I think your life lessons are applicable to many, many situations. So I bet absolutely everyone listening has had a significant takeaway. I do want to open up for any questions that anyone may have. Please do type those in the chat and I can share those with Anthony and we can have those answered for you. What I'm looking at in the chat though, Anthony, I know you can't see that, is lots of hearts, making it to the summit, comments about, wow, what a great session. Thank you. So lots of virtual high fives and clapping out there. I actually do have a question for you. I'll kick it off myself here. Have you ever thought about, in addition to the ways that you're sharing your journey, becoming a published author and sharing this and through written communication as well?
So actually, that's a great question, Manny. I appreciate it. Actually, there is a book coming. We're still in the process of writing it, but there is a book coming very soon, hopefully this year. We know this year sometime, we just don't know the exact date. One of the things I do as well, not only is it Kidney Trails, but it's a Kidney Trail Press, which is a publishing company, which we do this for those that have kidney disease as well. So yes, so that is on the way. It will be coming, and I'm sure once we'll start announcing that, and then we'll go from there.
Great. I'm so excited to hear that. I just think back to my 20 years of caring for individuals with kidney disease, and I just think that could be such a powerful communication for them. I do have a question in the chat from Alexandria, and the question is, what is your favorite way to share your story?
So Kidney Trails, we actually started out as a blog. So I started writing it. So writing it depends. It depends on the day and how I feel. I will say though, first and foremost, I enjoy the public speaking. We do the live streams, but I think public speaking would be the ideal way, especially when you can see the audience. I know we're virtually, and I can actually, if I turn towards this way, I can actually see some of y'all out there. But public speaking would probably be one of my more preferred methods. But I don't mind either anyway, just as long as the message gets out there.
Excellent. Well, again, thank you for sharing your message. We have another question. Let's see, with this question, what's some of your most memorable feedback, or a very memorable feedback moment you have? Maybe a comment that has stuck with you. You've shared some really great ones. Anything else coming to mind?
Far as feedback, far as in a session, or something that somebody helped me with, or?
Let's go with that. Let's go with something someone helped you with.
So I would say this. Back when I was in dialysis, I had about 6 people, who I called kidney coaches. Um, and they would help me, and they wouldn't talk a lot about the medical. They would just say, Anthony, look at yourself. When you wake up in the morning, you put your feet on the floor. Remember, you're greatly blessed and highly favored. I mean, that makes a massive impact when you're thinking, man, I have to go to dialysis today, but the ability to be able to get up out of bed, be able to get ready for the day and go out. And then there was one individual that said, Anthony, we've got it good. And I'm like, yeah, but you're in worse situation than I am. Said, but we still got it good. We're here. Look, there's people that are there with a lot worse situations than we are. So things like that, those individuals help me a great deal.
Great. Now, of course, as a nurse, I have to throw a nurse question in here. What advice do you have for nurses and for patient care technicians and for really anyone in the kidney care space who are interacting with patients? How can we help motivate those individuals?
Well, it's a very good question, Mandy, and I appreciate that. One of the things that I think could be with any of us, like I said originally, the only difference between me and anybody else is that I have kidney disease. Some people have, and we all face different challenges. Speak through those challenges. When you're talking to an individual that may be in the chair or somebody that's, in the room, they may be going through a really rough time, difficult time, but speak through your challenges, through your times of testing. It doesn't mean you have to share everything, but use that emotion to speak, encourage them, motivate, things of that nature. It doesn't matter whether somebody's been on dialysis or not. I mean, I was able to derive from people that had other challenges in their life. So
well, we don't have any questions in the chat, so I'm going to ask one last question that I have, and maybe that'll give people time to put questions in the chat if they have any remaining. But I am a firm believer that experiencing joy and happiness are important to our own personal healing. What are a couple of things that bring you the feelings of joy and happiness?
I think one of the first things, seeing somebody, having success makes me happy. If I was a little small part of that, it makes me happy. But seeing people be successful, see people reaching their dreams, achieving their dreams. Another thing is definitely seeing my kids. That makes me extremely happy. I now have 3 kids, so which is their absolute joy in my family. So, that music makes me happy. So, it's just a variety of different things.
Thank you. It's so important for us to all have those things that we can go to. Well, you have done a marvelous job answering all the questions. There's no more coming in the chat. And again, I just wanted to personally thank you for all of your inspiration. It's just been a joy getting to know you over the past few years. Thank you for including me in this event.
Well, I appreciate your willingness to be here, Mandy. It's wonderful. It's an honor for you to join us. I truly, it's an honor that you agreed, and I'm grateful for that. Just in the live stream.